Welcome to the Power of One. Today, this show is going to be an extremely heavy show. But as all of you know, the power of one is used to educate, it's used to speak about current events, current issues, and health issues also. We're going to be speaking with Yvette Prophet, who has cancer literally from head to toe. We want to speak about this very important issue because it's extremely important for you to get your physicals, for you to get your mammograms. Go see all of the doctors that you need to see so you do not end up with bad diagnosis. Hopefully, you will be able to reach out to Yvette if you are going through the same thing and you need a great support system. I am a firm believer that peer to peer support can change someone's life. Welcome to the show, Yvette. Yvette, I know you are going through a trying time right now, and I would like for you to share with your viewers when you were first diagnosed with having cancer, what that diagnosis was until current.
Okay. So I'm going to go through my cancer being diagnosed, and I'm going to walk you through each diagnosis. I was diagnosed on August of 2020 with an irregular mass under my left breast that measured 3.3 centimeters, multiple enlarged lymph nodes, the largest measuring in 2.9 centimeters. I had a left breast core biopsy. Final results of all of that. Left breast cancer to be treated invasively. And that was right away. We had to jump on this right away. So that's when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was living in North Carolina. Not only was it was a blow to me to hear the words breast cancer invasively. We got to do this right away. My head went into a spin, a wind world. And it blew my mind. I couldn't just call home and say, hello, family. I've now been diagnosed with breast cancer. So I had to fly back to Philadelphia, and I had to get my village together and have a conversation, which I knew was going to be very uncomfortable. So August of 2020, I was diagnosed with left breast cancer. So let the treatment begin. 421, left breast cancer lumpectomy, invasive ductal cancer. That's when I had my breast surgery. God blessed me, and I made it through. And I was determined to live and to fight. After surgery began chemo, side effects, hair loss. I lost my eyebrows. I never thought I would look in the mirror and see me without no eyebrows. I was nauseous all the time. I didn't want to eat, so I had to be forced myself to eat. I developed a rash all over my body, my ears, my nose, my mouth. Chemo and me, we just did not get along. I hated chemo, and I don't think he liked me too much. From that, I began to try to come to terms with my new normal. I am still coming to terms with my new normal. I am not who I used to be. And that has been a struggle for me. Chest diagnosis, 621. In June, I started having chest pains, severe chest pains, shortness of breath. And I went to the ER. I was diagnosed then with having metastatic cancer to the sternum with litis lesions. I had lesions on my chest. My head now is spinning. I have questions, but none of them was going to be the answer that I wanted. I wanted to know why. Why me? Nothing was making sense. Was I dying? once again, learning this is going to be my new normal. Once again, God is by my side. That's my chest diagnosis. 721, radiation to relieve um, pain on my sternum and my back. Mentally, this was my first time having radiation. Emotionally and mentally, I was depressed. I hit an all-time low. I did not know what to do. I didn't even know how to seek help. All I knew is I was going through the motions. 821, I had a PET scan, and that came back positive for a metastatic cancer to the sternum, L4, L5. Now I got cancer in my spine, in my back, in my chest, in my breast. So I said, God, how much more can you put on me? How much more? At this time in my life, I had a village who supported me. People loved me unconditionally, but I never felt so lost in my life. I was lost. I felt like I was just wandering around in the wilderness and there was nobody there. It was just me. I remember I said, I just want to go back to the old me. I just want to go back to what I used to be. Still, I'm trying to get used to my new normal. That's when they diagnosed me with cancer in my back. 1222, spine and bone diagnosis. In December, I was hit with another weight added to my body, but God kept me lifted when I was not strong enough. I was slowing down. My body hurt all the time. My body felt like a constant toothache that just would not go away. Imagine waking up every morning with a pain and that it's not going to go away. I can take pain medication and it will subside. Again, my new normal. Now I got to figure out how to cope mentally and physically with all of this. Yes, there's people out there that can sympathize with me and have empathy for me. But what was I searching for? It was something that I was searching for, and I could not find it. 1222, I was diagnosed with spine and bone cancer. February of 2023, I was getting debilitating headaches. I mean, my head hurt. I've never suffered from migraines ever in 56 years, never suffered from migraine headaches. Um, I was sick all the time. I threw up all the time. I was nauseous all the time. And I kept saying, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I remember going to chemo one day and they said, Miss Prophet, we're going to admit you to the hospital because we need to take tests. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking from the neck down, never thought from the neck up. And I got a CT scan on my brain. And they came back and showed that I had lesions on my brain. The next day, I had emergency radiation to relieve the pain. But now I know that cancer is on the brain. God is a way maker. He can do all things but fail. I know he didn't fail me. I felt like I failed myself. So now, 9/23, everything seemed to be okay. I was in the store. I reached up on the shelf to get something off the shelf. I turned around and I heard a pop in my right hip. And I said, God, what has happened now? And immediately the pain, it was horrible. When I went to the doctor, they scheduled me an appointment. They took a CT of the right hip, and the results came back that I now have cancer in my right hip. I have to get used to walking with a walker. and it came. And I'm not vain. I'm not. I'm just slow. So they wanted to do surgery, and I opt out hip surgery. I said I can't get cut on anymore. So I had radiation for 2 weeks. And again, this is my new norm. This is my new normal.
Yvette, tell me something. When you were going through your diagnosis, I if I heard correctly, the first one you said you went through chemo, but all of the rest of them you said you went through radiation. Can you tell me the difference? Why you did chemo the first time and then radiation all the other times?
So chemo and radiation was done all together. So I have been in chemo since my diagnosis, which is now 4.5 years. From the first time I was diagnosed till chemo's tomorrow, I've never left chemo. So
Mm,
when I had to get radiation, they done those together.
okay.
So, it's always been, a marriage between the chemo and the radiation. And that's why I was always so sick,
Mm,
because it was a double whammy being jolted to my body. So I asked when chemo would be over, and I was told that I would be in chemo for the rest of my life.
mm. I know you have a very good support system.
I do.
What happens when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yep.
And I know you're a praying woman,
Yes,
and
I am.
I'm a praying woman also. But when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're by yourself, that has to be the hardest.
It is. It is. Like you said, I have a village. My village is huge. And I always get, girl, call me anytime. But at 3 a.m., I'm always putting others first. I'm like, they could be asleep. They may have just went to sleep. They have a family, got crying baby. So I opt out to just cry in silence.
Mm,
I opt out
mm,
to scream in silence because who do I call at 3 a.m. in the morning when it's needed the most? Nighttime is the worst time for
mm.
me. I try to occupy my mind with crafting and knitting and sewing, but there's only so much you can do with that. Um, God, you are part of my village, Melanie. Y'all give me empathy, sympathy. Y'all cry with me. You've cried with me. And I know I can call your phone at 3 a.m. I know this. I wouldn't do it. So
Mm.
I suffer in silence. And it's
What
hard.
what gives you the drive to keep going forward? Is it something that you want to do to help others who have been diagnosed with cancer?
I've been going through this recently of I always say I want the Yvette back. I want her back. I'm never going to get her back. So I am learning to adjust to my new normal. And I said, God, how do I help myself to heal? And what I got was to tell your story. You
Mm,
have a testimony. You have something to say that someone needs to hear it. Some woman out there needs to hear it's going to be okay, Queen. And your crown may be a little crooked right now, but it's okay because I'm here. You know, they need to hear that. I have a story to tell.
mhm,
God don't make mistakes. I am not a mistake, but I need to find my place. I need to
mhm.
find my peace. And this is going to bring me peace. And this is going to bring me healing. I need people to know I survived childhood trauma. I survived being a single parent. I survived domestic violence. I am thriving to survive with cancer.
Okay.
And I have to tell myself that all the time. I am not dying from it. I'm living with it. And this too shall come to pass. Yeah, I woke up one morning and I had a crappy morning and I said something that God probably was like, "What?" I said, "Do you love me?" He said, "I do. I do love you." God don't make mistakes. And I have to tell myself, I'm not a mistake. My cancer is not a mistake. Maybe I'm going through this because I need to help heal myself and others. I don't know. All I know is I have a story to tell. And
Now,
somebody out there. Mhm.
how can someone get in touch with you if they want that peer-to-peer support? How can someone get in touch with you if they want to hear your story?
So right now I am in process of building that platform for myself.
Okay.
Um, right now, the only way to get in touch with me would be through Facebook because I'm on Facebook. Um, yeah, so until I can get that platform together where I can have someone pick up the phone at 3 a.m. in the morning and say, "Hey, I just want to talk," or
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, can I just cry?" And you just listen and not talk. I get days where I just want people don't talk to me, just listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, baby steps. This is
So what
going
is
to be
your
big.
Facebook? How can they get in touch with you through Facebook?
Yvette Prophet.
Okay.
um, that's me. I'm Yvette Prophet.
Okay.
Um, so far until I get everything else built up, just Google me or put in Yvette Prophet on Facebook and I'll pop out. I'll be the one with that smile. Because I'm always smiling. I try
Okay.
not to smile. You know, Melanie, I called you and you answered me. You didn't drag your feet. You didn't say, "Give me a week." You didn't say, "Let me think about it." You said, "When?" And this is what we're going to do. And honestly, I was going to back out.
Mm.
I was like, don't nobody want to hear what I got to say. I was going to call you. And I was going to say, "Mel, I can't do this." And when I picked up that phone to call you, only thing came out of my mouth was, "Are we still on the go?"
Mm-hmm.
All I could do is, "But God,
Mm-hmm.
He'll never leave me nor forsake me."
Mm-hmm. But I do think you are going to touch a lot of people who are suffering, with through those bad days. And I think you may touch some people that don't have a support system. Isn't that scary to think about?
Yes,
There are
very.
some people who have to suffer
And so,
alone.
by themselves.
So it's going to be good to get that call from someone who says, I've been suffering alone and I saw you on TV and I just need your help. It's not about the money. And I know the type of person you are. You're going to get chills from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet. And that's your payment. You know what I'm saying? That you're actually able to love on someone else. And that's going to help you through your bad days also.
Yes,
That's going
I
to
touch and
be.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
agree.
do. I admire your strength.
Thank you.
And I admire you as a woman who has raised three amazing young men, all unique and all different.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to start that peer group because
Yes.
I can't relate to what you're going through. You can call me anytime you know this, but I can't relate to what you're going through. So again, my thing is peer-to-peer support is so important and it's so powerful. So,
Mm.
I encourage you to continue on your path. Whatever you need, I'm always here for you.
Yeah.
But remember, you're going to make a difference.
Yeah. Faith without works is dead, and I got faith, and I got work to do.
That's so true. Yes, you do. You got a whole lot of work to do. Yes, you
I got a
do.
lot of work to
Yeah.
do. Yes.
And the beautiful part is you can do that work like after you have the chemo and after you have that radiation, even if it knocks you on your back, you can still Do your work while you're laying down and talking on the phone so you can still touch others.
Yes, I can, and I will. I will. I know, this is my calling. I kept asking God, what is it? What is it? What is it? And he said, I gave it to you already. I even gave you a platform. Now it's up to
Mm,
you. Faith without works is dead. It's up to you now, you
that's so
know?
true. Well,
Hmm.
I love you and keep pushing forward.
And I love you too.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It is extremely important for you to find peer support so you do not have to go through your journey alone. Peace and love.